What's up, bro? I hope you're doing well, and this video is dedicated to the people that find self-improvement very difficult. And you might be one of those people that's like, yeah, I want to start some new good habits, I want to detract from the bad ones, and I'm really motivated to start, and then by day 2, you already failed. Which is not a problem, but today I'm going to show you why you find it difficult and the solution to how you can overcome that problem. As a disclaimer, I cannot 100% guarantee you that this will work. This has worked for me and I am very convinced that it will work for you, but this is not a 100% certainty. So if it doesn't, then I'm very sorry, but I am pretty damn convinced that it will. First off, let's address motivation, because motivation comes only at the start. You're like, yeah, let's get to this, but after a while it will deplete, then your willpower kicks in, and that will deplete as well, and then you're back at the start. Oh, but I might as well go out all now, like I already failed for today, so like that extra gaming session won't hurt that bad. So that is basically the reason why motivation is really not the thing that you should be relying on. And the thing that really changed it for me is a very simple step. Simple, by the way, means that it's very easy to understand, but that does not necessarily mean that's going to be easy. More of the opposite. This is not going to be an easy step to take. The secret to this whole video is that your self-image has to line up with what you want to become, because if it doesn't, then no matter what you do, all your efforts will absolutely be in vain. Right, so now that I've broken this to you, I've got some good and some bad news. Let's start with the bad news first. And the bad news is that this might take a while. It might range from even a few days up to a few months. I will not be able to guarantee you results at any specific time. What I can do, however, and here's the good news, is that I can provide you a shortcut to how I did it, because this, for me, took quite a few months to do. But for you, I'll give you some pretty good lead examples to where you can go, what you can do, and how you can really accelerate the process. So let's start off at step 1. And this is where we make clear where we are right now and where we want to go to. So this is how you have to imagine it. You have a cliff on both of these sides, and there's a big canyon down here. Here is where you are right now. So this is point A, and this is where you want to be. This is point B. You want to cross the canyon, but you can't really go over it yet. This is where you are right now. And what I want you to do is to take out your journal and write down where you are right now. Who are you? Like not in terms of what's your name, but what you are right now, what qualities you have which are not in your interest. And here on this side is where you want to be. So I'm going to take the example of me. I was like the video gamer, I was like the hub master, if you know what I mean. I was doing a lot of bad habits, wasting a lot of time, doing a lot of shit, to say the least. This is where A is. Video games, hub, and all of the other stuff. Here is where you want to get to. So basically you write down like, here, this is how I am, and this is how I want to be. How I want to be is to be productive, to have a much better self-image, to see the world in a better light, to have more social interactions with other people, to smile more, whatever. It can be whatever you want. You can write as many things as you want, but honestly, I would keep it to less than 10 things, because if it goes over 10, you will not be able to see how many things you have. And the less you have, the more you will be able to concentrate on those few. At most 10, I would recommend 5, because 5 is like a very, very good starting point in my opinion. So take these points and write them down in your journal right now. Here is A, here is B, like right under one another or right next to one another. That's the important thing, that there should be a contrast that you can see in one page. Important thing here is that you really go into detail. I do not want you to be surface level like, yeah, I want to be happy, yeah, I want to be productive, but make yourself good goals. And those goals really, really have to be somewhat concrete and something that you can realistically achieve. Video on goals coming out tomorrow, by the way. Right, if you're here, then I expect you to have written it down, A and B, both sides of the cliff. And this is where we get to the interesting part, which is building the bridge. You will build the bridge from A to B. And as I said, for some people this might take somewhat longer. For some people this might be like just a few days long. It doesn't really matter. But the important thing here is that you start building this bridge and don't go off it, because if you stop building the bridge, it might happen that it could collapse. Not collapse in like one big swoop, but in small parts, like, ooh, this fell down, ooh, this fell down, ooh, this fell down, everything's falling apart, slowly but surely. So you need to keep building this bridge, and once it's established, it's strong. It will never go away. If you're someone around my age, then there's a good chance that your A is going to be somewhat like mine, which was like video games and wasting time and stuff like that, because a lot of people today are like that. And the important thing here is that you simply consume the things that address the exact problems that you have. Let's say your exact problem, like the exact one, is video games. I want you to watch videos on simply video games. Why video games should be quit. Why video games might actually not be so good. And I want you to just watch the videos. This is what I meant with the good news. Like, this is not going to be too difficult. All you have to do is watch the videos. It's not exactly difficult, because this is how I did it. I watched a few videos on why video games are not exactly good for you. Got some information like, okay, so video games are basically addictive. I was like, okay, interesting. Kept watching for a few weeks and I was like, you know what? I think he's kind of right. Like, video games are actually not as fun as they used to be. And why am I still here? Like, why am I still doing this? And that was the moment when I decided, no more video games. And now I play like once a month if I really, really want to. And that's like the highest I go. Because I honestly have basically no urge to play any video games at all. In terms of like content that you should consume, you can also consume books. You can also consume podcasts. Everything really works. Videos work the best for me because that was the content I used to consume. And I don't mean like these videos that like 5 hacks to make your dick huge. No, I mean the actually educational stuff by the YouTubers that I watched back then. The three that I remember are Hamza, Andrew Kirby, and Ali Abdaal. Those three are the main ones that I watched. And Hamza's like longer videos, by the way. Overall, longer format videos are a lot better than shorter format ones. Like, if you watch these 5-minute videos on why you should quit gaming, then it's not going to exactly get you far. If you watch a longer video, like a podcast, 1.5 hours, let's say Dr. Healthy Gamer K, that's going to be a lot more valuable. Simply because, one, you will actually have to concentrate. You will not be completely destroyed by some stupid edits. And three, you will actually be able to learn things a lot clearer, with a lot clearer mind, than in comparison to something that's completely over edited. After you've consumed a lot of this content, you might be at that place right now where you've consumed a lot of content but you still don't see change. And that's simply because you have not reframed your mindset and reframed your self-image. Because reframing your self-image will take time, as I said. If you don't take that time, then there's going to be no results. You have to reframe that self-image through saying that there's nothing left to sacrifice. If you think there's something left to sacrifice when you are trying to stop gaming, like, let's say you want to stop gaming and you're relying on willpower to get to that, and you're like, I will not game, I will not game, I will not game. You will fail because you still have the desire to play video games. And it's still in your self-image to play those video games. If you never have that desire, that craving, then where's the problem? And that is the power of not having anything to sacrifice and changing your self-image to where you want it to be. And yeah, with that said, that's basically all I have for this video. So consume the content and change your self-image after you've consumed enough. Because you will actually not need all that much. Trust me. And with that said, I thank you very much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and see you next time.